Hi everyone and welcome back to Maths and Physics with assignments. Today's grade 10 lesson on algebraic expressions. We're doing a very important concept called squaring a binomial or finding the products when it's given to you in this format. Now this problem in grade 12 is used under my question 1, just solving for x. It also gets used under sequences and series. It gets used under functions, or can be used under your functions question, used under calculus. It's used in paper 2 under analytical grade 12. It's also used under basically trigonometry, right? And in physics, yeah, it's appeared under projectile motion. Those of you that's planning to do physics till grade 12, it can appear under chemical equilibrium. So it's a whole bunch of places where we use this concept. And the key is, if you don't get this problem right, you end up losing 12 to 24 marks in the exam. So I pray and I hope that you take the time to follow carefully as I work through this and explain. I'm going to try my best to make sure you understand it as best as possible, but remember, you're going to have to practice this to become successful in it. So squaring a binomial is where we give you a plus 3b squared. Right, now you should know that means the same as a plus 3b times a plus 3b. So in reality, you're going to multiply first term times first term, a times a, then first term times last term, a times 3b. Then we're going to have 3b times a, then we're going to have 3b times 3b. That's called the FOIL method. First, the two first, the two outers, a and 3b. Then the two inners, the two closest, and then the two last terms. So a times a gives me a squared. A times 3b gives me 3ab. A times 3b gives me 3ab. 3 times 3 gives me 9. B times b, b squared. Alright. Short ab and ab there, you should see those two are like terms. So 3 plus 3 gives me 6ab. So my final answer, a squared plus 6ab plus 9b squared. Right, now this is the long procedure, and you're entitled to use this to get to the answer. In exam, we will give you 1, 2, and 3 marks for the final answer. But we need to learn how to go from the first bracket given here, squared, or squaring my binomial, 2 terms in the bracket, to the final answer. So as a maths learner, you must be able to write down the answer without doing any intermediate steps. Right, so I'm going to show you the steps how we go from here to there. So in short, if I go here, a times a squared. A times 3b gives me 3ab times 2 would give me 6ab. 3 times 3, 9. B times b, b squared, 9b squared. Right, but yeah, let's look at another problem. So given to us, we have 3x minus 4y in brackets, 2 terms, binomial. Squared, right? So when you say squaring a binomial, I mean binomial. I have 2 terms in a bracket separated by a plus or minus sign, and I'm squaring that bracket. Right, so to find the answer, we will always first square the first term. So you see there 3x squared, right, which is 3 times 3, and then x times x. So 3 times 3 gives me 9, x times x gives me x squared. All right. Then, to find the middle term, I'm going to multiply the 2 terms in the bracket. So I have 3x and I have minus 4y. So I'm going to say 3x times negative 4y times 2 to get the middle term. So they have written it out for you, 3x times negative 4y times 2. 3x times negative 4y times 2. Alright, so 3 times negative 4 times 2. Then I have x times y. So 3 times negative 4 gives me negative 12. Negative 12 times 2 would give me negative 24 xy. Alright, there's negative 24 xy. Right, and then for the last term, negative 4y squared. Right, so negative times negative gives me positive 16. Y times y gives me y squared. So negative 4y squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 gives me positive 16. Y times y would give me y squared. Right, so that is 16y squared. So there's my 3 terms answer. So in short, go straight from the bracket. 3 times 3, 9. X times x, x squared. For the middle, 3 times negative 4 gives me negative 12. Negative 12 times 2 would give me negative 24. The only two variables I have in the bracket is x and y, so negative 24 xy. Negative times negative, positive, 4 times 4, 16y squared. Right, now the trick is in exam, whenever we give this, the learners always forget the middle term. So you have to become aware that you mustn't forget this term in the middle. So if I give you 2 terms in a bracket squared, I always have 3 terms as an answer. All right, let's look at the next problem. Right, they gave me p cubed minus q cubed all squared. Right, so again, we're going to find the square of the first term there, p cubed squared, which is the same as saying 3 times 2 if we apply law 3, or if we say p cubed times p cubed, it becomes p3 plus 3, which gives me p to the power 6. For the middle term, there's a 1 in front there and a 1 there, so 1 times negative 1 gives me negative 1, times 2 gives me negative 2. All right, and then I have p cubed q cubed, so there you see p cubed times negative q cubed times 2. P cubed times negative q cubed times 2 gives me negative 2 p cubed q cubed. Right? For the last term, it's there, minus q cubed squared. So that will give me negative times negative, which gives me a positive. Q cubed times q cubed becomes 3 plus 3, which gives me q6. Right? So therefore, if I say p cubed, p times p cubed 3 plus 3 gives me 6. 1 times negative 1 times 2 gives me negative 2, p cubed, q cubed. Negative times negative, positive, q3 times q3 gives me q6. Alright, let's look at the last problem. So where we have a to the power 3x plus 4, my 2 terms in my bracket, all squared. So now I'm squaring binomial, so I must remember the middle term. So for the first term, I'm going to say a 3x times a 3x, which then becomes 3x plus 3x. For my middle term, it's going to be a 3x times 4 times 2. So a 3x times 4 times 2. For the last term, 4 times 4. So 3x plus 3x gives me 6x, a 6x, right? 4 times 2 gives me 8, and I'm left with a to the power 3x, and 4 times 4 gives me 16. Alright, so I hope you follow, I hope you understand. Make sure you practice and you know this. We're going to test this with sine, cos, tan. We're going to test it under finding the chemical equilibrium and the Kc constant. So you need to know this. Alright, very important that you practice till you know it. God bless. Bye.